Hi everyone, I'm Abhishek Kaushik and welcome back to the episode 3 of Pack Talks, where we bring the brightest minds shaping the future of technology. So today I am joined by someone who's truly an exceptional person in his field, an AI product manager, not just limiting to data science and machine learning, but also an expert into quant finance. And he's what is called a master in machine learning. So I have with me Mr. Pablo Moreno, who is an AI product manager at Boat. Hi, Pablo.
Hello, Abhishek. Thank you very much for having me. I think that you maybe overstated about the machine learning because you never stop learning. I never stop learning about it. So I
Yeah.
always have the feeling that I don't know enough. But thank you for the introduction anyway. Yes, and you're right. I'm working currently as a artificial intelligence product manager at Board, which is a software company developing solutions for financial planning and company consolidation financial statements and many other things. So my role, just to put that a little bit more in context, is actually a sub product owner. Sorry, product manager.
Yeah.
Develop or assist on development of artificial intelligence and specifically generative AI features into the product that actually can improve the outcome and the value to our
Yeah.
customers. Yeah.
Okay. So Pablo, before we go any forward, I've been doing a lot of research, and obviously, so we are basically in the middle of the transition, that is to be able to embrace the agentic AI systems. And what I could understand on the basis of the research is that more than 70% of the global enterprises are either adapting
Mhm.
or embracing, or I would say exploring the agentic AI systems.
Yeah.
And I would say with the more than over 30% of the companies reporting that they have noticed a shortage and they have reduced the manual overhead by more than 30%. So
Yes.
before we go any forward, the very first thing I would want you to put and to show, I would say, your knowledge and skills is that is the core difference between the workflow automation and the agentic AI system in terms of the functionalities, how does it work, and what's the difference, the basic difference, the core difference? Because I even also don't know a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, the core difference is with hyper automation. What you do is you reduce the human intervention in any workflow. That's in short essence what hyper automation is. Yes, I'm sure that over the last 20, 30 years of working history in any company, in any enterprise, any organization, there has been a lot of automation already, just because
Yeah.
they are using, technology tools. You can even name it spreadsheets or applications or custom applications, CRMs, and everything. So they it's very easy to assume that, oh no, we are already automating many things because we are saving time and everything. Now, yeah,
Mm.
and that is true. However, technology is evolving, and in the last 10 years,
Yeah.
especially in the last 5 years, is evolving at a higher pace than what we humans are able to assume and integrate into our normal, let's say, average learning process for any
Mm.
professional. So what happened is that today technology is capable to even automate, still continue the automation, but that automation means reducing the human intervention in any workflow. That's the
Okay.
big impact, and that is having the entire world nowadays. Um, that's in short. We can talk more about that, but in short, that
Yeah, definitely.
there
So
are many angles to
going
tackle.
forward, definitely. So going forward, like you told us about and our viewers about the basic difference between the agentic AI system and the workflow automation. So obviously you've been having a lot of experience into so many things, machine learning and all those things. So did you must have encountered with the I would say an experience wherein the standard workflow automation at some point of time might have failed if you have ever faced that, but the agentic AI system might have excelled. So, did you by ever any chance get to encounter this situation in the last course of, I would say, 5 years?
Yes, in very specific cases. And don't forget that agentic automation is not only reducing the human intervention in terms of workflow, but it's also letting a system to make decisions on its own. So
Okay.
based on very high level rules. So the going back to the previous comment, and then I will connect on how answering this question. So because of that, the key differentiator between standard automation and hyper automation with agentic AI is that we are leaving the machines to do certain decisions that we used to have on the human side. Okay, so that's the main core. Now, extrapolating that to results or applications where I have seen hyper automation exceeding in some cases, some very specific cases, the usual, let's say, automation or traditional workflows are in cases where a big volume of analysis is needed from a human perspective in something very specific, but it has a very high impact. And I'm remembering right now one of maybe the most impactful cases that I was involved recently, last year, in fact. It was a big pharma company where they have an RPA process, very deterministic, very rigid, not rigid, but it was good because it was very well controlled, everything. And that process was actually to monitor and scan hundreds of documents, marketing materials and everything. Obviously, we are talking a very highly regulated environment, and there are, by law, depending on where, in which country some materials are published, even if it's on marketing purposes or anything, it must contain by law certain statements and wordings, like, for example, this is a medication and this must be taken by prescription, etc., etc. So that type of messages. Obviously, if you don't comply with those messages, the company is at risk of being penalized by law. Obviously, because there are some mandatory items that we need to comply with. Imagine a human or multiple people, human beings, obviously colleagues, just reviewing hundreds of documents all the time. You can get the text horizontally, vertically, in diagonal, crossroads, different shapes, sides, everything. Yes, a human person can read and understand all of that, but that is extremely time-consuming, Well, an automation, a standard automation, can do the job, yes, but it requires a lot of predefined rules to identify if the text is here, if the text is there, if it's horizontal, if it's vertical, if it's diagonal, if it's crossing anywhere. It was working at some point, but it requires a very high maintenance, because every time somebody change a portion of the text or the format or the size or the letters or the language, or just adding one typo or something like that, it was making the bot, the RPA fail. So it requires, again, going back to the process of the bot artifact, refine it, retune it, add any rules, etc., etc. Well, that is no longer needed with Agentic AI, because Agentic AI doesn't really care if the text is horizontal, vertical, diagonal, backwards, it has spell checkings or not, or typos, or this and that. So you don't need so many predefined rules a priori to do that. So a Gen AI middle solution into the whole process can do that exact same job, identifying the wording and everything, just with very high level instructions. Identify this text is present or not, even with synonyms, not exactly the same wording. So that is adding a lot of flexibility to the process, and of course is highly efficient, because you don't need to dedicate human hours to do that job. So just let one or two agents do the scanning, and they can decide by themselves, there is a flag here, there is a missing word there, this text is not according to compliance, or is not in compliance with the local regulation, etc., etc. So there was
Okay.
a very interesting case where that solution using Gen AI and Agentic AI was definitely exceeding the usual workflow automation.
Okay. So before we go any forward, I mean, obviously, since you've been telling and sharing a lot of experiences, so can you share like one more example of from your practical life wherein you can uh, share with us and walk through us like a real world project using CrewAI, because you happen to be
Yeah,
very expert in CrewAI,
yeah,
and what difference did it make in terms of what was the impact after implementing and making use of CrewAI in a
absolutely.
real world project? If you can
Absolutely.
show us something, if you can share anything of that sort.
Absolutely. Yes. You know that my background in finance is remains with
Yeah.
me, even though I've been involved in many different areas in any business organization. But finance is my core. So a
Yeah.
couple of years ago, first of all, I love CrewAI. I've been like 3 years ago, I started to re-educate myself into more agents AI and agentic solutions, agentic automation, and Gen AI applications, etc. From all the opportunities and scope that are out there, CrewAI is actually the framework that I like the most. Maybe if
Okay.
you ask somebody else, will have a different opinion, and that's totally fine. That is totally fine. But um, what I like from CrewAI, and this is what I actually used in my application, is the simplicity first, and second is very easy to maintain, and third, most important, is very easy to deploy. So all
Okay.
those three items are extremely valuable, at least to me, and in the environments that I've been working. And CrewAI is very well designed for multi-agent architecture, even a cyclical and
Okay.
so forth, which is also very good. So simplicity is fantastic. So I personally love that. So yeah, I'm sure there are many frameworks out there that has different tools,
Okay.
different applications, different solutions, things that you cannot do with CrewAI, and that's fine. I mean, you use it if you need it, but
Obviously. Obviously.
exactly. But to my purpose, CrewAI was fantastic. So
So
now,
what I can
yes,
understand
yeah,
is, sorry to
no,
interrupt,
no, of
because
course,
this,
go ahead.
yeah, this might be of interest to our users and the viewers. Like, since you mentioned the CrewAI offers a lot of, I would say, flexibility, as you
Yes,
said. So how does it, how would you say, or how would you share that? How is it how CrewAI or any other frameworks with the ones like the low code or no code solutions? We do have a lot of no code, low code
yep,
automation, agentic AI systems. So what happens to be are they more of like the same? It's just that the audience that they're catering to is altogether different, or does it comes with difference in terms of, I would say, the usability or specifications?
yeah.
So are there any
Well,
differences?
absolutely, and I'm telling you, I've been able to develop very good solutions with low code, even no code applications. There is nothing wrong with that. Of course, the
Okay.
most important is understanding the use case, the business solution that you're trying to do, to develop, and obviously thinking forward. And this is where I see the difference between moving from low code, no code to something more core code. Is the scalability. So the scalability and the openness or the flexibility of including different items or different variations of the original solution that you're trying to do. Not even the original workflow. The workflow can be the same, but you can have multiple different variation of cases. So how can I
Definitely.
embed that? Sometimes low code, no code are a bit limited in that way. They are not designed for actually that purpose. It's actually, they are designed for something that you can develop fast, put it in production really fast, straight away. So no brainer. That is perfect. But if you think or you can observe that your solution along the time gets obsolete not because it's not usable, it's because your case is evolving and that you need to continuously add new use cases. What CrewAI offers me is first keeping the simplicity of something that is low code. It's definitely a code application that you need to code and you need to develop
Okay.
things, but also gives me the flexibility of adding more agents, more context, more NCP, more tools, more things to my original solution so I can make it scalable and even adaptable to different environments, different scenarios that my original output was designed for. So that is where I see the big differentiator. Of course, there are obviously many frameworks out there that can do the same. Definitely,
Yeah. Obviously.
everybody has its own preference. Nothing wrong with that. But again,
Definitely.
I personally value simplicity and easy to maintain solutions, something that can scale quickly and I can troubleshoot really fast. And of course, they have a great support, I have to say.
Okay. And with reference to, obviously, because that happens to be your favorite, the Crew AI, I would say, uh, the real world life projects that you've handled so far, can
Mhm.
you share us, or throw some light on which exactly happens to be the project wherein which has given you an experience or taught you how exactly AI agents make decision and handle, I would say, unexpected outcome scenarios.
In some cases, yes. I remember that a while ago I was involved in a very large solution for, again, another large pharma company, where the company was interested to create a centralized Gen AI solution, a chatbot, in fact, where
Okay.
multiple employees. It was an HR assistant, an HR
Okay.
agent, okay, chatbot agent. So um, the purpose of that, it was to reduce the interaction and the support from the HR different divisions in the company. It's a multinational that has close to 100,000 employees spread in, I don't know, 40 countries or something like that. It's way too much. You can imagine that in an HR scenario, every country has its own regulations, every country has its own working laws and obligations, legalities, and everything. And in essence, it's the same. So every employee must work for it and get paid for it. That's in essence what happened. That is common everywhere so far, at
Yeah,
least.
obviously.
But your alliances, your benefits, your rights, your obligations, they are way too different sometimes from one place to another, even though they are the same outcome at the end. So, the idea was to create a kind of central place where people can quickly interact, employees, any employee from the company can quickly interact with agent instead of going through hundreds and hundreds of places, tools, SharePoints, PowerPoints, PDFs, and everything start to connect the dots here and there, and everything, they get lost easily.
Sorted.
Everybody get lost.
Yeah.
So having a bot that can centralize all that was the original solution. Fine. What
Okay.
happened? What happened is that the artifact was having so much access to so much data, and everything was such a high volume of data. And on top of that, many of that data, those documents, were very similar to each other with a 20 to 30% variance in, obviously, depending on the localities that you
Yeah.
have. That when I'm asking a question, what are my travel allowances if I want to go from Paris to Berlin?
Yeah.
Fine. And if the bots answer perfectly the question,
Okay.
as that, I am a German employee, but I am not a German employee. I'm an Italian employee that I'm trying to go
Yeah.
from Paris to Belgium. So um,
Yeah.
it was very difficult to, it's one of the samples, the many samples that we have where the bot, yes, it was working as expected properly, and it was and it was producing the right response, but it was not getting the context and
Okay.
obviously all the details associated with the input that it was receiving. So there was needed a very high work in terms of fine tuning, adjustments, and everything. Another situation, another scenario that we found is that the bot was not able to identify all the acronyms that large enterprises used to use. I'm working for VPN, so what are my benefits allowances for this period of this? what is BPM? Nobody understand what is BPM, business process management. So yes, the bot knows what is business process management department, but they don't know what BPM is. So for example, so
Okay.
it's just a very simple example. So what we did was a huge work to try to collect as many usual acronyms that people used to use, even if they are not officially recognized in the company, and create a dictionary and fine tune some part of the agents that were incorporated later as a knowledge base into the agent. So that's a few examples that the bot can deviate and unexpectedly. So that's
And
just to
so,
mention
Pablo,
something.
what I understand from this is that from the AI agent, from the agentic AI systems point of view, is that everything which needs to be framed up or designed, be it designing an HR agent or any of that sort, it's all about training the agent from each perspective. Is it so?
That is one part. Framing the agent is one very important part, and you have to think about many aspects that maybe you don't think usually as an engineer. That's why you need to have, if you are a developer, you need to have a very deep understanding on the business, very deep. So not maybe you become an expert on the field that you try to deploy the solution into, but you need to understand exactly all the nuances, all the particularities, all the context, how things are done the same thing is not doesn't have the same meaning in one department or another department, even in the same company. So you need to understand as a developer all those context elements for every specialty. But as I said, that's one part: fine tuning or framing the agent properly, or the group of agents, your solution, your agentic solution, just to name it generally. But even more important than that is always the input data, the knowledge
Okay.
data that you are attaching to the agent. That is even more important than framing the agent properly. We do have today um, agents and models available that are capable to do many things with minimum configuration. And I'm not saying that no configuration or not setting, but they
Hmm.
are prepared to avoid certain type of questions or off-topic questions or something like that. But what is still the most important aspect of any agentic AI solution, like in any other field of artificial intelligence or machine learning, is actually the raw data, the knowledge base. So that's where that's what makes the difference if an agentic solution is going to be efficient
Okay.
or not.
I
And
get the
that
point.
requires time, processing,
Yeah.
cleaning data, preparing data, staging data, exactly the same, even if it's an structure, especially if it's an structure. Exactly the same as you do with a database. Exactly the same. Once you import data in your database, you need to clean it, prepare it, stage it, etc., transform it, and then making sure that it's going to another stage where the data is ready for consumption. So, I mean, exactly the same process happens in artificial intelligence and, of course, in Gen AI.
So it's more of like the quality of the data needs to be 100%
Definitely.
perfect.
Definitely. It's never going to be perfect. Just to say, some
Obviously.
we are all trying. I'm obsessed to have clean and perfect data. It's never going to happen. But the more that you can reduce, let's say, the pollution of the multiple different aspects, I'm going to say pollution doesn't mean in a negative way. You can have overlapping data and many different aspects, or outdated data that is still in use, but some part of the outdated data is still in use, but you are not telling the agent about it, so the agent can skip it or not. And there are many items. So never going to be 100% perfect, but do as much. I mean, every effort invested in keeping data healthy. I'm not going to say clean and perfect because it's almost impossible, I believe. The better the solution is going to work. Definitely.
Okay, so that leads me up to, obviously, because we have shared a lot of things, and you also answered about the common mistakes or errors which
Oh, okay.
one makes while making. You already answered that. So like I would just want to know, like on the basis of, I would say, vast rich experience that you've had, so and the projects that you have been leading so far over the years. So how has it changed, I would say, your understanding when it comes to, I would say, uh, AI behaves in the real world problems versus the human behaves in a real world problem? What happens to be the efficiency
Oh
so far
yes,
till now? Yeah.
yes,
So
that
because
yes.
we're living in a world where we say this, that like AI at times in certain situations AI supersedes in some scenarios, but obviously you being a leading instructor, you being an expert, obviously you can share the practical insights with our audience. So what exactly happens to be your experience from the projects you've led so far? I repeat that AI, the behavior of AI in the real world situations versus
Hmm.
the human behavior in similar in the same situation, and what
Yeah,
it leads to.
yeah. That's a very interesting question, I have to say. First, I like to highlight that human is irreplaceable. I'm sorry, that
Okay.
is
Okay.
irreplaceable. Let's start from that point. Now, with that said, it's true that humans have some, humans, we are very interesting. So that's why
Yeah.
they never get fascinated. Everybody gets fascinated to understand how humans behave. That's what we do, one way or another. So in the professional aspect, humans bring two things. One, we all bring many biases because your understanding of the world is not the same as mine, even though we are
Yeah.
both humans. Okay, because you have your environment, you grew up in a specific environment, you were educated in a way that I was educated in a different way. I'm not saying better or worse, I'm not going into that.
Yeah.
This is just categorization. But all humans brings we our own biases. That's number one. But at the same time, humans, we do have the capability, the incredible capability to quickly understand the environment much faster than any other entity in ever
Okay.
known. Okay, so um, with this, where agents exceed is in scenarios where the human biases can influence in any decision process. Okay? And the bias, every bias that human has can be by different ways. Can
Yeah.
be fears, can be emotions, can be strength or psychology frameworks. I mean, I'm not saying good and bad. I'm just saying what we are. So in some cases where a decision needs to be predefined to be taken, I'm not saying taken, okay, but
Yeah.
predefined or prepared to be taken, in some cases, removing as many biases as possible is very important. Okay, it's very important. So in those areas, in those cases where human bias is influencing very much the decision process, is better to have a companion, a supporter,
Okay.
a copilot, why not, which is a Gen AI solution that is more agnostic. I'm not saying that is because that, or even Gen AI models bring their own bias. I get it, but it's more diluted than the usual human bias that we
Okay.
have. So in those cases, they exceed definitely in supporting the decision making process. I don't say, and I don't advise to lead or to let a machine or a system to make a decision. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that. I'm saying supporting the human to make the decision. Oh, I think that, oh, I know it's care about this number or this initial report. Yeah, but the model is ignoring all that. It's ignoring all that. It's just going straight to the data, analyzing it, and just everything. So you as a human will be ending up making the final decision. In contrast, environments where the context needs to be considered, highly considered, I think humans way exceed any
Yeah.
artificial intelligence solution. Way exceed. Human resource is a very interesting case. Would you hire somebody that is not according to your bias preferences? Well, if you lead a machine to preset a candidate, say, I don't care where is that person coming from. Maybe it's
Yeah.
from a environment that is not very convenient to my biases, according to my biases, to my
Yeah.
environment. But hey, this is the right candidate. So just remove all those biases. That's fine. But at the same time, it's a double, it's a very dangerous thing. So because you can go in the other way. So I can have a person that maybe. Me as a human, I interview a candidate, and that candidate may don't have the right skills, may don't have the right education, or may don't have the right thing, and is having a hard time because it has been, desperate to find a job and everything. And I can read things that an artificial intelligence can never get, which is that specific context. I think, oh, this person, I believe in this guy can actually do a great job if I hired it. And you hired it, and it's right. Because
Yeah.
your intuition, your capability to read the context and the items that cannot be written by a system or a machine actually makes you take a right decision. So we need to find the balance between the two aspects. So in finance, I mean, I remember now in finance, I've done a couple of years ago some solutions, automating some processes, combining a lot of work. And when you have some kind of um, organizational level where you have to make your personal decision and opinion based on
Hmm.
your finance statements or your reporting units into being consolidated, and you need to pass your opinion to somebody else who's going to take a higher decision than yours, you are trying to influence naturally that person in a way that it may favor you. So you may be, no, I'm not gonna tell about this item in my report, so I'm gonna include this one. Yeah, we're having some losses here, but we're having a big
Yeah.
revenue, so I prefer to show big revenue rather than very little losses here. uh, that's a lot of bias that I'm trying to use
Yeah.
in my favor. That's the natural bias that humans
Exactly.
brings. So maybe in these situations, just automating and using very agnostics way, I mean, leveraging machines to remove or reduce that human bias helps actually to get a better real picture of what's going on. So then the higher people can make maybe better decisions because the information presented is less biased, not unbiased, but at least it's less biased. So
Yeah. So it's more of like, because we as humans are, I would say, we have emotions. So obviously that level
definitely,
of biasness would always come into play, whether be
definitely,
it positively, be it negatively. That's a case of taste and preference. So
absolutely.
when it comes to the and Pablo, so one thing more as well, moving to the next segment, that is how exactly is the industry I would say embracing or working. So as per your experience, how exactly has the job market uh, been evolving for people who want to build agentic AI systems? And so, is it different from what it used to be? And how is it different from like the traditional, the workflow automation systems
Yeah,
before 3 years, and what exactly it is now for people who want to get into the agentic AI or multi-agent systems?
yeah, of course.
How is the job market reacting to that, and is the job market embracing? So do you have like something to share, show whatever the case is?
Yes, yeah, I prepared some slides I can actually comment, but I
Good, good.
see I see different trends. You have different, let's say, styles in terms of corporate adoption for agentic AI and solutions, and they are different in many aspects. I'm not going to tie this to geographical things or not. Or I mean, there are many ways that we can frame this,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to classify it for what I have seen. Obviously, I haven't seen the entire world, but today. But I have been fortunate to work with many international teams, many different industries in the last 4 or 5 years. So in many places, and I have built myself a big picture, let's say, of common trends that I identify. So you have decision makers that are extremely excited.
Okay.
Oh, let's hyper automate this and rah, rah, rah. So implement solution. We want AI. We want AI. We don't know why, but we want AI. So that's yeah, it's true. I mean,
Okay.
just that very popular FOMO expression, fear out missing out. So fear of missing out. So no, I don't want to fall behind in the market. So let's say that we have AI in our product. It's okay. That's one way. So you start hiring people, investing budgets and money and resources and infrastructure. Oh, what do we need? Here it is, another check. And you start spending like crazy
Yeah.
just because you want to show others that you are in the wave. So, which is nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah.
in terms of business logic, hey, hold on a second. What's the outcome of all this? What do we want to produce? What's
Exactly.
going to be the value of what we are developing right now? Is this worth it or not? So my father used to say, at some point, somebody's going to come back asking you to pay the bills. Are you
Obviously.
prepared to pay the bills? And the bills in the way of a business outcome. That's what I'm trying to say. So not the
Yeah.
bills. So that's one way. We also have the other way, which is right the opposite. No way we're going to adopt this. This is too risky. This is too. So they are very risk averse in terms of early technology adoption. Nothing wrong with that. But those individuals or those organizations unwilling to adopt hyper automation and Gen AI solutions or artificial intelligence application, they say no. Well, let's do this until we have no other choice, or no, we have done right over the last 20 years, over the last 30 years. Why to change if we are doing
Yeah.
okay? And that is true. That is true. The thing is, the world today doesn't work like 20 years ago. No way. And yes, you
Yeah.
could be
It's not.
living today for what it was built 20 years ago, but at some point, your organization will become obsolete because you are not prepared for that. We all love
Precisely.
antique cars. I mean, we all love antique cars. I love antique cars. And all those nice cars built in the 50s and the 60s, they are really beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a car riding or running today in today's environment with all these electric things and very highways? And yeah, are you really going to be driving in a highway at 60 miles an hour? Really? I mean, or not 60 kilometers an hour, 70 kilometers an hour, the most? Well, I don't think. I mean, you can actually drive on Sunday mornings across in the middle of your city with a old car. Or this is a very nice way, but that's all you can do. So you're going to be at some point very limited. The problem is, if you don't adopt or start embracing change, at some point you will become obsolete, and you don't know why nobody's asking me or to do business. Because you are obsolete. You are not delivering what the market needs. That's simple as that. And so that's right. And then we have a middle point.
Yeah.
Yes, you want to say?
No, no. I mean, yeah, I was listening to you curiously.
Okay.
Yeah. The middle
And,
point.
and
Yeah.
okay, and then we have the middle point. We have, which is actually where I think organizations in the middle point are doing the right thing. So they are not in the forefront of the hype, but they are investing time, resources, thinking, okay, we know that technology can do this. This is what we produce. Okay, services, products, doesn't matter. How can we use or leverage existing technology to do better what we do? As simple as that. As simple as that.
Exactly.
And that has many impacts. That has many impacts. So what actually do you do good? Do you have a very good customer service? How can you improve it? Do you have a very good customer retention? How can you improve it? Do you have your organization and you want to improve your operational efficiencies? Perfect. How can you improve it? So there are very specific business objective that you can use thinking how those tools can help me do better what I do and what I do good. So it's not I do good, I am living like that. No, we have many cases. We have many corporate cases, not to mention Kodak or Nokia or even Raspberry, BlackBerry, and those big giants ones. They were doing fantastic, but at some point they
Yeah,
disappear. Why? Somebody else was doing it better. So, so,
exactly.
so those in the middle are, in my opinion, doing right. And I like to say, don't be in the front of the hype. You're fine not being on the front, actually going late in the hype, but
Yeah.
be at the front of the value. So when you deliver value, is what people is going to perceive, your market is going to perceive from you. So better to focus on what value can you add with technology more than being in the front of the AI. Oh, we are adopting AI. Well, okay, that is
It's
gonna last
like
very.
it's more of like balancing the best of both worlds for, I mean, for both the parts. I mean, the part one which has the hype,
Completely.
we want to embrace AI. They
Yeah,
should know what value, what output it produces, and what input also needs to be given,
exactly.
against the one which is like the, I would say, the anti AI. I
Yeah,
mean, they should also have to ask this question whether it's required in my business area or not. If yes, obviously, then take things forward. And I think the winner in this case is the one which is in the middle. So, I mean,
exactly. And
yeah,
the people in the middle, or the organizations that are in the middle, are more ready to re-educate and re-skills their workforce into new tools. Hey, this what we did works fine. Oh, as soon as you show that to your colleagues or your organization, people start being interested. Oh, I want to learn about this new thing, this new that. I can do this faster. Oh, what you have developed here, I can apply here in my job, so I can be more efficient or more productive on the way that I do it. So the adoption and the willingness to embrace new things is going to be better once they prove the even small values, so
yeah.
gains. So yeah.
Yeah. So Pablo, I mean, before this, before we were discussing about the job market, you said, you just mentioned that you prepared something. I would like to know if you can share what exactly you've prepared, so that can be of,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, insightful to our viewers.
Yeah, I am very visual, so I am very visual.
Yeah,
So I prepared just a few slides, just to maybe consolidate. Let me share my screen.
yeah.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Mm, yeah. Now it's visible. Now it's visible.
Okay, very good. So I just prepared a few things for the three main topics that we were about to discuss. We already discussed, in fact. So how agentic AI surpasses traditional automation. I know you mentioned this. I mean, actually, you anticipated one of those three main topics. We mentioned about this, but definitely this is the three groups that I think where agentic AI surpasses traditional automation. So traditional automation is very deterministic. You need to preset many things ahead of time, just anticipating how the usual automation, no matter what type of automation, is going to work, how that is going to be executing things, required a lot of human intervention because it needs to be maintained, it needs to be adapted to the environment every time something in the environment change. So a new addition needs to be added. So Agentic AI actually reduce the human intervention in that way because it's more context aware. So it's better prepared to adapt to changes more than traditional workflows or automation. So that's a very big important thing. So that, in contrast, what you need is actually monitor the outcome of the agentic AI more than the outcome from the traditional automation, because traditional
Get it.
automation, the outcome is more predictable.
Hmm.
However, agentic AI is not so much predictable. So you require a lot of boundaries and frameworks just to make it work right and produce an output that is valuable. Um, is so something that, and the other item that I want to highlight from this slide is actually the ability for agentic AI, any agentic AI, definitely CrewAI as well, is capable to readapt itself constantly. Is what is called learning and improvement, so constant learning or constant retraining. So every time you adapt or make a different input to the agentic AI solution, and you determine how the output should be based on your inputs, letting the machine do whatever they have to do inside, the system is capable to use that as a learning context and be used in the future again. So something that is not possible today or in traditional automation at all. So because it needs to be rescheduled, it needs to be reprogrammed and reset, and etc., etc. So those are the highlights that I wanted to mention in terms of difference between agent AI and traditional automation. In
So
addition,
it's more of like that, whether it's the job market, whether it's the use case market by the conglomerates corporation, Agentic AI wins nowadays.
in certain aspects, yes, definitely. Again,
Okay,
because it's removing a lot of the human bias in many fields. I'm not saying that everything needs to be fully automated, because it's today we're not at that point. We are far away
exactly.
from that point, but it needs to automate. A lot of things that removes or dilutes the human bias into the whole process.
Understood.
Yeah, how that impacts the human workforce, and of course, specifically on engineering roles. There are many roles, but I'm just focusing on the engineering roles. Is a fact. So engineers, AI engineers or developers, or any kind of engineer using or leveraging autonomous agents, very highly specialized on do a small task, very small task. Don't do what is called in the industry the God agent. The God agent is an agent capable to do bloody everything. No, it's no way that an agent is capable. I mean, it can do it, but it's a guarantee of failure for sure. So, but an agent can do a very small thing like searching quickly information, give you an alternative to maybe your code in your development, no matter what type of development you're doing, or fine tuning a solution that you're trying to develop or design. Definitely, there is a huge value added in that, and those statistics are proven. In fact, so they're coming from Copilot for Copilot AI agents. So,
Yeah.
as you can see, people developers using some kind of autonomous agents to improve their developments. They do faster deployments, and they do fast completion of their work. That is proven. In fact, I stole this slide from my colleague Olu Vole Fakbone,
Oh,
which is also another
okay.
admired author from me, Impact, and a very, very good friend of mine. So I'm just saying that I'm going to use your slide because I love it, and, but I'll give you the credit. So it's not mine. So I stole it
Definitely,
from
definitely.
him. He's aware of that, so don't worry. I think he's not going to be mad at me. So that's one thing. And finally, super important, how the market is changing due to generative AI and agent AI and everything. Traditionally, this is what we are living over the last, in the history of mankind since, until maybe the last 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, something like that, before the hyper automation era. Industry 4.4. I don't know what is. The people in the market just call it numbers. Industry 4.0. Why? Because we had a 3.0. What was the 3.0? So I don't know. Anyway, traditionally, everything has been very human-centered, so very
Yeah.
much relationship between human to human in terms of processing, value-added, workflows, and everything. So what is pivoting right now with technology is we are going to something more like this, where humans and agents, machines and systems are going to collude and obviously blend into one single organization. So we humans will not be replaced anytime soon by agents. What agents and technology and Gen AI are replacing are tasks. They can actually replace tasks. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, we need a human judgment to take the output of whatever task has been automated and incorporate it into something bigger in scope, decision making or processes, or I don't know. So what I see in the near future is something more like this, where humans will co-live and in a corporate scenario with systems, and humans will become
Okay.
the manager, let's call it like that, more or less, for an easy understanding, the managers of a combination of humans and a technical solution agents, in other words. So one person can lead one or two other person or people, and that same people, both in the top and in the bottom of the hierarchy, just following a hierarchical structure. In addition of human beings, we will have to monitor Gen AI solutions. So we need to combine, we need to adapt the interaction of humans and systems together. So that is going to be what I foresee in any organization. So finally,
So it's more of like that. It's more of like that. The humans will be the master, and so the master will
yes,
command what to do, how to do, and the agent will eventually follow that.
execute. Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
execute.
We traditionally, humans has been very much producers, okay, of things. We have been producing work, services, products, etc. Now we are transitioning, humans are transitioning to become more managers. Managers of what? Of other humans and another systems. But
Yeah.
the way that we are going to produce going forward is more outcome focused, not process focused. So is that's actually the big shift that I foresee in the market. How that impacts, how this scenario impacts into the future of work. Well, yes, many roles will become obsolete, but many other roles will emerge. Some of them will be embedded into our humans professions as we are, but some others will be highly dedicated individuals focused on those areas. So we can see AI orchestrators, so one person orchestrating multiple agents. We will see, well, we have seen obviously the prompt engineers, but not
Yeah.
just prompting themselves, but just also configuring, setting the parameters of how agents should be configured in order to produce an output. So it's not just prompting per se, it's just system prompt engineering, input prompt engineering, settings, boundaries, and guardrails for agents to orchestrate or multi-orchestrate multiple different solutions, even a combination of multiple agents into one single solution. We will have agent supervisors, people that oversees not the engineering side, is about how the agents process work. So
Okay.
that's what I see. And finally, we all will become agent bosses. I mean, we need to monitor what's the outcome of the agent. Is the agent fulfilling the objective that it was originally designed for? Is the output according to what I expect or what I need or what the organization needs according to the high level objectives? All those new roles are going to emerge even more and more. There are many more roles that will emerge, definitely, but those are the most immediate things. As I said, some of those aspects of those roles will be embedded naturally into us as current humans working and adapting or adopting technology. Some of them will emerge as standalone roles in the market going forward. That's what I see. I am not predicting the future.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how far I'm going to be from the reality in the future, but this is the trends that I foresee.
Pablo, one last thing is that though you have answered, you've answered it, you've shared your insights, but conclusively, will the AI builder systems, the agentic AI systems, will it become as mainstream as data analysts or developers as it used to be at some point of time, maybe like 3 years back, the demand of data analysts, data scientists, developers for that? So will it become as mainstream as it what are your opinions on that?
Uh, I see two ways. Yes, yes and no. yes, it will be a mainstream. But I see a big differentiation in terms of skills and the dedication of professionals. So
Okay.
we will have a big emerge in the future of more Gen AI and AI engineers developing
Okay.
agentic solutions and AI solution and products for different purposes. That's one thing. And what I also see, and I anticipate, and it's actually happening, is more uh, current professionals will need some skills to start working and developing their own agentic solutions. So,
Okay.
for example, I used to be a business intelligence developer many years ago. Today, you can, I mean, in the past, being a business intelligence developer, you bring all your data from databases, you start designing a dashboard, answering business questions. Those questions remain there, and then you maintain the dashboard and applications, your ATL pipelines, monitoring your database, etc., etc. That is fine. Now, incorporated agents into that role improves first the efficiency on how you store the data, improve the maintainability and the usability of those pipelines, and finally, you now can embed an agent into a dashboard that is capable to answer questions from the dashboard and from the backend data that is not in the dashboard to the business users. So we have seen many things like BI professionals will disappear. No, I don't think so. Nobody's going to
Okay.
disappear. It's going to evolve, but they will not disappear. Because what is happening is they're incorporating those AI artifacts and AI solutions into their work. So there's an evolution of the work as it used to be. So this is the
Understood.
two, yes, this is the two angles that I see. One, definitely a more emerging roles in terms of Gen AI developers, Gen AI engineers, AI developers, etc. And second, more adoption for any professional, supply chain, marketing, HR, I mean, you name it, literally, you name it. Those professionals will need the ability to start incorporating and working with artificial intelligence solutions in their day-to-day job, because it's a natural evolution of the work as it used to be. That's
Understood.
what it is.
So, I mean, definitely, definitely. So that's going to be some fruitful insights from you, Pablo. And
Thank you.
since we are running short of time, and as we bring this session come to a close, I would want you and our audience to be aware that beyond delivering the industry excites with experts like you, Pablo, we at PACT we also organize structured workshops and events, particularly tailored and catered to the tech audience. And I've
Yes.
added a link. I've added a link with this video in the description part.
Hmm.
So anyone can go over, visit the link of the events that we organize, the current ones as well as the ongoing ones, which are
Yes.
tied up in the field of machine learning, Gen AI, and algo finance, quant finance. They can just go to click on the link, find out about the workshops that we have been organizing. And if it resonates with them, if it aligns with their professional objectives, I mean, we are always welcome for them to sign up to register for that. That's one thing which I would want you and our audience to know of. And moreover,
Definitely,
uh,
and I want to.
yeah,
Sorry to interrupt you,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I am a big consumer of your content, and I've done a lot of
Thank you.
trainings, and education is very much needed for any professional, no matter what type of professional, to re-educate ourselves, to continuous learning about the evolution and the trends in the
Definitely.
market today, and adopting new techniques and new, let's say, skills that helps me to do the work. Sometimes what I get from a workshop or something, oh, I'm not going to use this. Is this worth it to invest it? Well, the reality is yes, because I may don't need to use it, but I know what is possible to do if I use this or that technology or this framework or whatever it is. Uh, that builds everybody's background and gets you prepared for future challenges ahead. So I just wanted to highlight that.
Definitely. So, I mean, the whole structure of our workshops and events is to play around and focus on the practical training parts. So that's why the reason we also
Definitely.
organize and all these events into statistics, machine learning, the current I would say the current technologies and tools which are emerging. So as I mentioned, like I'm attaching a link with this video in the description part.
Hmm.
So anybody who's watching this video can just go visit the link and find out about all the events and workshops that we have been organizing and we are going to be organizing in the month of December as well as January.
Hmm.
And moreover, Pablo, with you being a guest, it has been a wonderful experience and session with you, sharing some of the brightest insights that you have shared with our audience.
Likewise.
And I mean the scales, the depth of expertise, the projects that you have led has amplified and given us, I would say, given the users a chance to know it what exactly is happening in the real world from a
Yeah.
practical point of view. So I wholeheartedly thank you for being a part of this event, for
I'm
this
very
YouTube
pleased.
live.
Thank you to Pact and you for inviting me and having me here. I am a very consumer and admirer of your content, your books, and your trainings and everything. So yeah, definitely. Thank you for. I've been very honored to
Definitely.
be here. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the kind words, and I'll stay in touch with you, and
Yes,
I'll see you. I'll be seeing you at the event, and so yeah, I'll stay in touch. Thank you so much, Pablo.
definitely. Thank you very
Thank you so
much,
much.
and thank you for the
Have a
audience.
nice day. Have a
You
nice
too.
day. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.